January 12, 1945. Late morning, Brussels. The room is warm, overheated by coal stoves and expectation. Reporters crowd shoulder to shoulder, notebooks open, pencils already moving before the first sentence is finished. Cameras hum. Somewhere outside, engines idle in slush-streaked streets, waiting to carry headlines across the Atlantic. Field Marshal Bernard Montgomery steps forward. He does not raise his voice. He never does. His tone is measured, clinical, almost courteous, and then he says it, that he saved the Americans. The Battle of the Bulge was stabilized because he took control, that chaos yielded only when the British method replaced the American speed. The words land softly and detonate anyway. Across the channel, the reaction is immediate. In Washington, phones light up. In the War Department, aides stop pretending not to listen. In France, at Supreme Headquarters Allied Expeditionary Force, officers exchange glances that they do not record. General Dwight D. Eisenhower reads the transcript in silence. He does not argue the facts. He does not contest the contribution. He understands what Montgomery is really doing. This is not about credit. It is about leverage. Within days, the request arrives, formal, precise, wrapped in operational logic. Montgomery wants permanent command of the U.S. 1st and 9th Armies, more than 500,000 American soldiers, for a single deliberate blow, the Great Northern Thrust into Germany. On paper, it sounds efficient. One commander, one plan, no duplication, no friction. But Eisenhower knows the cost of the language being used. He has read this kind of request before. Unity of command can also mean transfer of power. Temporary measures have a way of becoming precedent. General Omar Bradley does not hide his anger. He calls it an insult disguised as cooperation. Others are quieter, but no less alarmed. Because this is the moment the alliance stops pretending balance still exists. And Eisenhower understands something else now, with unsettling clarity. This is not about winning the war faster. It is about who commands it. Eisenhower does not answer immediately. That, in itself, is a decision.
January 1945 is not a moment that allows clean choices. The Ardennes fighting is still burning itself out. Roads are cratered, bridges damaged, supply lines stretched thin by winter and distance. The German army is wounded, but not finished, and the alliance, forged in necessity, is showing strain beneath the surface. Montgomery waits, confident. He has momentum now. Public opinion in Britain is behind him. Some American newspapers, stunned by the scale of the bulge, are less hostile than expected. He frames his request not as ambition, but as order, method, control. Eisenhower understands the argument. He has made it himself before. Unity of command is not a slogan, it is a doctrine. And yet doctrine is never applied in a vacuum. He looks at the map. Two American armies, 1st and 9th, are operating on Montgomery's northern flank. Temporarily, during the Bulge crisis, Eisenhower placed them under Montgomery's control to stabilize the line. It worked. The front held. The Germans were stopped. But temporary control has a habit of changing how men speak about ownership. The request on Eisenhower's desk is not for coordination, it is for permanence. He knows what saying yes would mean, not tactically, but politically. It would confirm the suspicion already growing in Washington that American manpower is being subordinated to British command, even as American industry, logistics, and casualties now dominate the war. Bradley voices it bluntly. If Eisenhower concedes this, the United States will never regain full control of its own armies in Europe, not without a fight that fractures the alliance outright. And Eisenhower will not fracture the alliance, not now, not weeks before crossing the Rhine. So he chooses the narrowest path between explosion and surrender. Montgomery will keep one American army, the 9th, only for the Rhine crossing, only for Operation Plunder. The words are chosen carefully, they are written carefully. Temporary, limited, conditional. Montgomery accepts.
Outwardly, it looks like victory. His northern thrust will proceed. He will command British, Canadian, and one American army in the decisive assault into Germany. The press will see it as confirmation of his central role. But Eisenhower's compromise contains a line Montgomery either misses or chooses not to see. After the Rhine, command reverts. No exceptions, no extensions, no reinterpretation. It is not written as a warning, it is written as a fact. In private, Eisenhower is already preparing for what comes next. He knows Montgomery's style too well. He knows how methodical caution can slide into institutional control, how a commander who believes he is right will continue acting as if permission is assumed. The alliance moves forward, but something essential has shifted. For the first time since Normandy, Eisenhower is no longer managing strategy alone. He is managing trust, measuring words, anticipating not German resistance, but Allied maneuvering. Montgomery plans his crossing with deliberate care. Massive artillery, perfect timing, no improvisation. It is warfare designed to eliminate surprise, even at the cost of speed. Elsewhere, American commanders watch and wait. They do not interfere, they take notes, because they understand what this arrangement really is, a test, not of German defenses, but whether temporary power will be surrendered willingly. And Eisenhower already knows the answer he is likely to get. March 24th, 1945, the east bank of the Rhine. The crossing succeeds. Operation Plunder unfolds exactly as Montgomery intended. Massive artillery, perfect timing, no gaps left to chance. Engineers bridge the river under the cover of smoke and guns. Infantry moves when scheduled. Armor rolls when cleared. Losses are controlled. The river that generations of German planners treated as a final shield is breached in daylight by design. It is, by any technical measure, a success. And that is when the trouble begins. Montgomery behaves as if the argument has been settled.
Orders continue to flow, as if Ninth Army is no longer borrowed, but absorbed. Staff arrangements harden. Planning documents extend beyond the Rhine, into northern Germany, into the post-war geography of occupation and prestige. There is no request for extension, no formal conversation, just an assumption. At SHAEF, Eisenhower notices the language first. Phrases like "my left" and "my Americans" begin appearing where they should not. Briefings are delivered without reference to reversion dates. This is not defiance, it is something more dangerous. It is normalization. General Bradley recognizes it immediately. He has seen it before, in men who believe success proves entitlement. He writes later that Montgomery did not intend to give up Ninth Army unless forced. The word forced matters. Eisenhower does not confront him immediately. He waits. He watches the front expand eastward, German resistance collapsing faster than anyone predicted. The war is no longer about breaking through, it is about how fast the Allies can move before Germany disintegrates completely. And speed now matters more than perfection. To the south, American armies are advancing with a freedom Montgomery's structure does not allow. Columns bypass resistance instead of reducing it. Bridges are seized instead of rebuilt. The tempo is chaotic but decisive. The contrast is no longer theoretical. Montgomery's model requires time. America's advantage is momentum. Eisenhower sees the future forming in front of him, and it does not match Montgomery's assumptions. The war is shifting from set-piece operations to pursuit. from plans measured in weeks to opportunities measured in hours. Keeping Ninth Army under British command now would not just offend Washington, it would slow the war. And Eisenhower understands something else, something colder. If he allows Montgomery to keep the Ninth now, there will never be a clean moment to take it back. The argument will always be that it is working, that change introduces risk, that unity requires continuity. This is the last moment authority can be reclaimed without rupture.
On April 4, 1945, Eisenhower acts. The order is brief, administrative, almost bland. The Ninth Army is returned to American command immediately. No debate, no phased transition, no acknowledgement of Montgomery's expectations, just a line drawn where the compromise always said it would be. Montgomery is stunned, not because he did not know the terms, but because he believed success had rewritten them. And Eisenhower finally understands the full weight of what he has done. He has not merely reassigned an army, he has ended Britain's claim to shape the war's final direction. April 1945 arrives without ceremony. There is no conference to mark the shift, no announcement crafted for morale. The paperwork moves faster than the news, and by the time Montgomery fully absorbs the decision, it is already irreversible. He now commands only British and Canadian forces, no American armies, no shared authority, no leverage. For the first time since Normandy, Field Marshal Bernard Montgomery is operationally isolated. His front remains intact, well supplied, meticulously organized, but strategically diminished. The great northern advance he imagined has been reduced to a supporting role in an American-led pursuit. The war has outgrown his method. To the south, U.S. forces surge forward. Lines bend, boundaries blur. German units collapse before they can form. Commanders accept risk because speed is now the weapon. Bridges are taken intact. Cities fall without siege. Entire enemy formations dissolve into surrender. Montgomery watches it happen in real time. He objects quietly at first. He argues that caution prevents unnecessary loss, that order preserves combat power, that pursuit without control invites chaos. These arguments would have carried weight months earlier. Now they sound like resistance to reality. General Eisenhower does not argue back. He does not need to. The results are visible on every situation map pinned to SHAEF walls. Arrowheads representing American armies stretch farther east each day than platters predicted possible. This is not a failure of British arms. It is something more final. The center of gravity has shifted. British forces are still competent, still disciplined, still essential, but they are no longer decisive. They do not set the tempo, they follow it. For Montgomery, the reduction is personal, but the meaning is institutional. Britain entered the war as a global empire with an army designed to manage imperial commitments. It exits the European campaign as a partner whose influence now depends on American willingness, not British necessity. There is no confrontation between Eisenhower and Montgomery after April 4th. There does not need to be. The decision has already been made. Montgomery continues to plan carefully. He clears his sectors methodically. He secures his flanks. He finishes his war the way he began it, deliberate, controlled, exact. But he is no longer shaping the outcome. Bradley later reflects that the Ninth Army's return was not a punishment, it was an acknowledgement of fact. The United States was now carrying the war's weight. Command had to follow contribution, not tradition. And Eisenhower, often remembered as a consensus builder, reveals something else in this moment. He is willing to be resentful. He understands that alliances survive not by avoiding offense, but by knowing when deference becomes distortion. April 1945 does not mark the end of cooperation between Britain and America. It marks the end of parity. The war will conclude without Montgomery's imprint on its final direction. Victory will come, but not under his hand. And that realization, more than the loss of any army, is what lingers. The war in Europe ends not with a conference table, but with motion. Columns advance until there is nothing left to overrun. German units surrender faster than orders can be issued. Maps stop changing because there is no enemy left to pin. When the guns finally fell silent in May 1945, the question was no longer how victory was achieved, but who shaped it. And the answer is uncomfortable for Britain. Eisenhower never publicly rebukes Montgomery. He never needs to. History does the work for him. The final weeks of the war are defined by speed, improvisation, and mass, by an American way of war that no longer waits for perfect conditions. What was gained is clear. The alliance avoided rupture.
The war ended faster. American command matched American responsibility. What was lost is harder to admit. Britain lost the illusion that experience alone could outweigh scale, that preparation could substitute for momentum, that the habits of a global empire could still dictate outcomes in a coalition now dominated by another power's resources, manpower, and tempo. Montgomery believed the method was morality, that saving lives justified control. Eisenhower came to a harsher conclusion that prolonging the war, even carefully, carried its own moral cost. Neither man was wrong in isolation, but only one view could govern the end. By stripping Montgomery of American armies, Eisenhower made a decision that echoed far beyond April 1945. It established a precedent that would define the post-war world. Leadership would follow capacity. Authority would follow contribution. Influence would no longer be inherited. It would be measured. Britain remained an ally, a vital one, a respected one, but no longer the senior partner. And Montgomery, victorious yet diminished, finished the war exactly as history would remember him: brilliant in preparation, flawless in set-piece battle, and ultimately outpaced by a conflict that no longer waited for certainty. The uncomfortable verdict is this: the war did not end the British Empire, but in those quiet administrative orders of April 1945, it stopped pretending it still commanded the future.